Hello, my name is Matt Henry, and I'm CEO of a 3-month-old company called OsteoSynth. Today I'm here to talk to you about our synthetic dental bone grafting technology called bone foam. All right, there we go. All right, in the past, whenever a tooth needed to be extracted, a dentist would remove the tooth and suture up the hole left in the jaw by the missing tooth. After 6 months, about 50% of the bone volume in that area could be lost due to the body absorbing and redistributing the unused bone within the dental socket. This loss of bone volume could cause undesirable collapse of the lip and cheek structure of a patient's face and severely complicate any type of restorative dental procedure that might have been planned. Dentists have learned over the years that if you pack the socket with a bone grafting material, you can help preserve the socket and minimize any bone loss. Current practices involve packing that void with a demineralized bone, which essentially is a crushed up and chemically processed bone derived from either human cadavers or cows. Now, in talking with dentists who will be our target customer, we've learned they have a number of concerns about using these types of demineralized bone products. And one of their primary concerns is the fact that it's not easy to work with. Also, they typically have to wait at least 6 months after filling the socket with this type of material before they can go back and insert a dental implant, which means if you're a patient, you may have to go 6 months without a tooth. Not an ideal situation. Our company will offer a biocompatible synthetic bone void filler called bone foam that a dentist can inject directly into the socket immediately after an extraction, and it will harden in place in a matter of minutes. Now, the bone foam material is actually engineered to mimic the natural porous structure of bone, which will help to promote new bone formation as the graft slowly absorbs in the advancing tissue. Now, based on feedback from dentists, the bone foam material is actually going to be offered in a dual chamber, easy to use syringe with mixing tips. It will be offered in 2 different sizes, a 2cc size and a 5cc size to meet the various demands of dentists, and we sold at a price of $200 and $500 respectively. Now, since the estimated cost to actually manufacture the product is between $35 and $37, that provides a nice gross profit margin of about 80 to 90%. Now, one of the advantages of our technologies is the fact that it's extremely easy to use. There's no preparation work involved, unlike other dental bone grafting technologies. You just inject it directly into the socket. Another advantage of our technologies is the fact that it actually hardens within a matter of minutes. It provides immediate structural support to the dental socket, which will help to promote new bone formation. So is there demand for this type of product? The size of the dental bone grafting market is estimated to be around $750 million and growing at a rate of 8% per year. This technology also has potential applications in the orthopedic and veterinary markets, which we plan on exploring at a later time. Our team is going to consist of Dr. Dan Hayes, the inventor of the technology, and myself. We both have a considerable amount of small business experience in the medical device industry, and to help navigate the dental market, we're working with Dr. Eddie Katari, a local dentist, who will serve as our chief medical officer. I'd like to thank you for your time and would be happy to answer any questions you have.
So just to be clear, this is not for a new tooth. This is to
No.
repair the bone in the socket.
Correct. So it's more for that. Essentially, you've got to extract the tooth. So if you've got a decayed tooth, or let's say you got hit in the face with a baseball, and because of the trauma, essentially you have to remove that tooth, versus just sewing up the gum and just letting it go, the socket will collapse without any type of filler in there. This would be able to be put in there and help to regrow bone in that area. So then the dentist could come back later if you choose to and get an implant placed in there.
So it heals desirably and won't have the side effects that you showed on the
Yes, that's if you use nothing.
Yeah.
So alternatively, you can use the demineralized bone products and that type of stuff. That generally takes about 6 months to before the dentist can go back and essentially place an implant. So with this product, we should be able to get that down to hopefully 4 months, but we'll see.
And how does it compare to the bond appetite that you list in your competition?
The bond appetite is the synthetic graft. Is that right?
Like
Sorry,
Ogma?
it's been a while.
Ogma Biomaterials.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
synthetic base.
That is a little bit more complicated to use. Essentially, it's a synthetic bone graft, and it requires essentially placing a cap on the actual syringe and then pumping it. So essentially you have your dry phase and you have your, I think it's a saline-based solution. You have to mix the solution in the syringe, and then you have to inject inside the patient, and then you also have to wipe it up pretty quickly because when it dries, it's messy and then cures. Ours is a little bit easier because all you do is you put the mixing tip on, and then you just kind of inject it. Because the two-part syringe is kind of like an epoxy you'd get at like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, where the mixing actually occurs in the tip, and then you just inject it in the socket, and you're done. You wait about a couple minutes, let it cure, and then sew it back up.
What's the cost compared to that?
What's the cost?
The cost for the foam compared to that product you were just talking about?
The price?
Price,
Okay.
cost, yeah.
They're,
Well, both.
the price is, I believe, it's 100 or so per cc. So we're in the same ballpark.
Same.
We're charging $200, but it's for 2 cc, so it comes down to the same price. I don't know what it costs for them to manufacture
Oh,
that
no,
product.
I meant price, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I meant the cost to the dentist.
Yeah,
So you said you're 3 months old?
yeah.
Okay, so where are you with the product development?
We have done small animal trials, which have been successful. Essentially, it was a small animal spinal fusion. And we saw a nice regrowth in the bone into the actual material. We're currently set up to start a large animal dental trial later this month. So, and that's all been funded through grants through NSF, Penn State, engine grants and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if I may,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about the safety?
Yes.
And what were some of the safety parameters, just to kind of understand as to what was, with this material, what was
Yes.
the chief side effect that you would have forecasted, or you're trying to prevent, or how can you make sure that this is a very safe product going inside?
So that would probably be covered under the, some cytotoxicity testing that the inventor has done. Came clean, no cytotoxicity response. The small animal, they did histology as well as CT scans, and they saw a nice CT scans would show you the growth of the natural bone into the actual material, and the histology would show that there was no tissue reaction to the actual material, which there was none. And then the inventor also did some extractable and leachable studies to see what comes out. And the advantage of this technology is the fact that whenever you run this reaction, it essentially consumes all the reagents. There are nothing that actually comes out of the actual material. So
And you said you were also testing it in spine, if I'm not mistaken, so just
we did a small spine study.
small spine study.
Yep.
So is that still one of the alternative uses, or was there something in that spine that made you pivot in terms of, let's go dental?
The point was essentially it's a lot easier from a regulatory perspective, as well as if there were any adverse effects or whatever, it's a lot easier to remove a dental implant than it is a spinal implant or a femur if you're trying to do a void filling process versus trying to open someone's femur back up so that you pull it out. It's a lot more complicated. So we do intend to revisit that later, but we want to essentially get more established in the dental market first.
And have you done any market research with dentists about whether they would buy this, or whether they replace their current practices with this?
We have done some customer discovery there, and the dentists seem to be encouraged. Obviously, if they say we're doing the same performance as the competitor, we got to be cheaper. But since hopefully we can show that better performance, we can actually either price ourselves a little bit above or at least at the price of the current competitor. So,
With that question, we're out of time.
thank you.
Thank you.